Everybody, it is March 27, 2024. Hello, everybody. I hope you're doing well, or as good as can be. Lindy London, Alicia DeMoss, Crazy Potts, Christy Hazelwood, Andrew Cruz, Geofactor 3, Moonlight Sonata, hello. Sherry Hughes, thank you very much. Rage Against the Machine, and Deacon Blues, Antonio Ponce, Bluesman Sonny Fournier, and Barb in Ohio, James Brandenburg, hi everybody, Mike Luft, Ray Clay, Patricia White, Shauna Howard, hello, BMCC, hello, Jake M, Cecilia Amarati, hi, oh boy, Amber Eyes, hi, Crystal Ingram, hi. So, yeah, WTF News. I think that's just going to be the title from here on in because it sure is WTF News for sure. Radar. Major pulse here in, oh, did they turn it? Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't take a capture. 5 o'clock. They changed their images and there was a huge, very powerful pulse with different frequencies coming out of Nevada. We've seen that before, but I thought I would show it to you and I can't now. The nanobots coalesced and brought about some nice rain for Northern California. Look at these lines of precipitation, please. And also Washington. And isn't this fabulous? Look at this weather front from in the Gulf, off the coast of Florida, down by the Keys, all the way on up into Canada. That's right. Manufactured, as we all know. Well, evacuations are underway due to a massive fire and explosion at ComFuel gas station in Bowling Green, Kentucky.
God, it's really bad. Damn!
The couple has yet to reveal the gender of the baby, so we're not sure if it's a cat son or a cat daughter. For more serious activity.
I think we're under attack. Stealth attacks. It's so easy to fool. So easy to fool. Great. Great. Oh, fuck. Man. I'm really having trouble with life. It's, yeah. Well, all right. I'll wait to see how many people say we're buffering, and then I'll just close it. So, police are on the scene after a male suspect went on a mass stabbing spree in Rockford, Illinois.
Breaking news now at 5 o'clock out of Rockford. 4 people are dead. 5 others are hurt in a stabbing attack this afternoon in Rockford. Police say they have a man in custody. It began with a home invasion. Investigators say the man continued attacking people throughout the neighborhood. Some of them were stabbed a short time ago. Police said they do not think anyone else is involved.
Well, what else do I have? Man killed after bomb threat prompts evacuation of Orange County Bank.
Man threatening to blow up a bank during an attempted robbery is dead tonight after a confrontation with police.
Witnesses say he walked into the Wells Fargo, claimed to have an explosive device, and threatened to detonate it. Police arrived just minutes later. John Fenoglio live in Fullerton with more on a tense situation and what we're learning about that suspect. John.
Sure, Micah, that's right. Tense and terrifying. This is still an active crime scene. The bomb squad technicians remain on site, as do investigators. And if you look behind us, we're going to push in tight just beyond that squad car there. You can see a blue screen has been set up in front of the bank where, at this moment, that suspect lies dead on the ground. They've established a wide perimeter here. That suspect is dead. However, we're still not in the clear just yet. Bomb technicians are still working to clear this scene and declare it safe.
It looks like there's blood next to that person's head.
A bomb squad remote-controlled robot moves a suspicious device away from the body of a suspect, shot and killed moments earlier by police. Officer.
This is our world now. Sudden turn, says cyber attack. DEI or something worse. All right, I'll put the link into this video. You can watch the whole thing. I'm just going to play a few minutes of it. Wow.
At 12:30 a.m., a Singaporean cargo ship, the Dolly, departs the Seagirt Marine Terminal in Baltimore. At 1:26 a.m., the Dolly loses power, but as it returns, they turn right into the Baltimore Bridge's support beam, accelerates, then loses power again, and blows directly into the beam, causing it to collapse in a mass casualty incident.
Yo! What the
Now, Stream Time Live shows us the path the Dolly took, which is puzzling as to why, even in a power failure, would the ship turn at just the last moment directly into the support beam. As the internet is now calling this incident a perfect strike, with the rescue crews showing us the massive destruction during their early morning search missions, and the aftermath in the morning displays the bridge has fully collapsed into the sea. As this will now impact practically all shipping in the Maryland area for years, the feds are now investigating.
The FBI, on very first, looking at and assessing this matter from an investigative standpoint, I want to be clear that there is no specific or credible information to suggest that there are ties to terrorism in this incident.
So obviously rumors of a cyber attack are trending, citing the lights cutting out the exact moment it turned towards the support beams, calling it a Black Swan event, with other random accounts claiming the Danish-chartered Singaporean ship manned by an all-Indian crew was in fact captained by a Ukrainian, to which they're celebrating. As when you watch the footage sped up, it doesn't look like an accident. Where social media users are pointing out the explosions that occurred as the bridge went down.
Let's not get distracted by this here. Let's keep these videos going.
Now obviously you know me as somewhat of a connoisseur of tinfoil hat theories, and these have ranged from somewhat probable to entirely fabricated in my opinion, as cyber attacks have been happening specifically on our supply chain, so this would be nothing new or unexpected. But I just don't think it's fair to manipulate a video and claim that's evidence of foul play. The same.
Yeah, well, we can only speculate as to what the hell is going on with our world. Mass residents who commute to Rhode Island dismayed by Washington Bridge news, and I want to thank my subscriber for sending this along. Check it out.
The folks who live in Seekonk and Rehoboth, and it used to take them about 15 minutes or so to get to work, and now it's taking them over an hour, and it could stay that way for around 3 years. Interstate 195 from Providence heading into Massachusetts at a crawl this evening.
It takes probably about an hour to get home in the afternoons is the worst part. Yeah. It's only 6 miles.
The westbound side of the Washington Bridge closed since December due to critical failures. Traffic rerouted onto one crammed side, and now the other will come down.
We are going to replace the bridge, and we're going to do it in a way to keep people safe. and we're going to do it right.
Construction equipment sits on the shuttered bridge after about $40 million taxpayer dollars was already sunk into repairs. A new bridge could cost between $250 and $300 million and take until at least the end of 2026 to complete.
It absolutely blows my mind that amount of money was even a question. It's just insane. It's absolutely insane.
195 travels through Bristol County to Fall River, New Bedford, and then the Cape. Commuters from Massachusetts preparing for long delays. This woman crosses the bridge every day for work.
It's terrible. And I can't even believe that this is even happening.
It's terrible, man. I have to be at work at like 7 o'clock in Cranston. I live in Rehoboth, so if I want to get there in time, I need to get up like at least an hour earlier.
Even if we're not just commuting back and forth, like on the highway, it's like back roads. And for 3 years, like it's ridiculous. Like it backs everything up.
Now, the bridge is expected to come down at some point this summer. Now, the highway is also the main route that takes folks from Rhode Island, Connecticut, New York, and points south to Cape Cod. So we could see even bigger delays in the summer. Well,
Perfect time to do work on that bridge, considering summertime. There's a whole lot of traffic, people going out to Cape Cod. This is a big deal. They don't want you driving. And disruption and inconvenience and madness and frustration, that's what they want. The $15 toll to drive into part of Manhattan has been approved. The first in U.S. cities. New York is on track to become the first U.S. city with congestion tolls on drivers. This is like the UK's U-list that people have just been, well, let's just say Europeans are different than Americans, and a whole lot of people have been attacking the U-less vans and the U-less cameras. But this is what's happening in New York, and it's going into effect June 1st, I believe. Let's see. Congestion tolls on drivers entering its central business district after transit officials approved a $15 fee for most motorists headed to the busiest part of Manhattan. Goes into effect June, right? Okay, the board brushed off requests for exceptions by dozens of groups of commuters. $15 toll on most commuter passenger vehicles every day. $15 every day to drive past 60th Street in Manhattan, and a whole lot of people commute and have to pay a $15 toll just to enter Manhattan, and then they have to pay $15 more on top of that once they pass 60th Street. Tolls are higher for larger vehicles and lower for late-night entries into the city, as well as for motorcycles. Supporters of the new tolls say it will push more people to use public transport, reduce congestion, to speed up public buses and emergency vehicles, reduce pollution, and raise money needed to improve the subway system. Opponents say the fees are a burden on workers and will increase the prices of staple goods that are driven to the city by truck. And I will tell you, yeah, there was a lot of traffic in Manhattan. Usually it was during the peak hours, people coming into Manhattan to work in the morning and then leaving work. And I can't for the life of me think that there's more traffic now, because I would think that there's less people in New York, and a whole lot of people have lost their jobs and yada yada yada. So a whole lot of people have moved out of New York, a whole lot of people are dying. So this is just to really gouge a whole lot of people of money. To enter Manhattan, commuters from other states and boroughs boroughs already pay around $15 in bridge and tunnel tolls, and the congestion fee will come on top of that, another $15. Daily parking costs already run $25 to $50 in the congestion zone, which includes a dozen neighborhoods in Manhattan that are south of 60th Street. Tolls will vary based on the time of day and the size of the vehicle, ranging from $1.75 for motor vehicles crossing overnight to $36 for sightseeing buses and trucks with trailers. During the day, the overnight period runs from 9 p.m. to 5 a.m. on weekdays, from 9 p.m. to 9 a.m. on weekends. Visitors without an Easy Pass will have to pay more. And as on bridges, license plate readers are expected to identify other drivers so that they will be billed by mail. Taxis will charge passengers $1.25 per trip that touches the zone. App-based rides will charge $2.50. Why the difference? App, I guess that's Uber. Free pass for emergency vehicles, specialized city vehicles, and buses with regular public routes or city school contracts. Vehicles carrying disabled people and certain low-income commuters also get a pass. Low-income drivers are eligible for discounts and tax credits. And Houston mayor says we are out of money. We are broke after decades of overspending that has stopped them from being able to pay firefighters. Houston, we have a problem. America's fourth largest city is spending more money than it's taking in, leaving it with a $160 million deficit. And yeah, tax hike? Get ready, Houstonians. That's very likely what we're looking at. Going to the voters this November. Here's the plan. Here's what it's going to cost. And we're asking you to chip in. You think they're going to ask? I don't like a 5% cut now. This is what the mayor said. But you have to make tough decisions. And folks, put me in this position to make tough decisions, and I'm going to do my job. Public transit system in the 70s cost $3 billion on a light rail system that is performing horribly. Okay, so Houston town's money problems come at a time when the rest of the Lone Star State is swimming in cash. Then borrow it from other counties. The Republican state, well known for not having a state income tax, saw a near $33 billion surplus last year, more than the state budget of South Carolina. Much of that is due to the hordes of people moving to Texas, with projections saying Dallas could overtake New York as the most populous city by 2100. Really? We still have this? Can't maintain smooth streaming? I paid my Verizon bill today, and I paid for smooth streaming. Yeah, CERN is being powered up on April 8th. Well, we be screwed. City of Oakland is now going after a 102-year-old man in a wheelchair. His crime: he was unable to remove all the graffiti painted all over his home by thugs. So he's facing a $1,100 fine, plus an additional $1,277 fine for each failed re-inspection.
We'll Wheelchair-bound, Oakland-born, 102 years old Victor Silva Sr. often finds graffiti painted onto his back fence of his Oakland home where he's lived and paid taxes for 80 years. Earlier this month, he got a violation citation from the city of Oakland to remove it by Tuesday the 19th or face an $1,100 fine plus an additional $1,277 for each failed reinspection.
It was so absurd. It's like a joke. If you drive around the city and see the graffiti everywhere, it's just, I don't know what to say.
I thought somebody's crazy.
In his younger years, before the wheelchair, he often painted over the graffiti himself.
Had a roller and a paintbrush and painted it. It was very, very easy. Because I was a contractor, you know. I'll be 103 in 2 months or so. That slowed up a little bit, you know.
These days, that task falls to his 70-year-old son, Victor Jr.
It's hard to keep up with it because as soon as we get it painted, it's going to be graffiti on it again. And it won't last.
But, like you said, there's graffiti right there. Who's fixing that?
Now, this utility box has 6 different kinds of graffiti on it. I wonder if the utility got a citation. The family owns a nearby small commercial building which has been broken into 3 times in the last year. On one occasion, Victor Jr. found a person inside. In each case, he called 911.
And I'm put on hold every time. So it's hard to understand where our tax dollars are going. They can't answer 911, but they can come out and hassle you about a fence.
I had to ask, how does one live to 102 or 103?
Very easy. Just keep breathing and, you know, behave yourself.
I would hate to think that there's other 100-year-old people that are being harassed like this. Oakland has to change. It's just...
It is harassment, and frankly, Americans treat Americans like shit. Everybody in that community should be going down to whomever is issuing these fines and demand that they don't do it, not to a 102-year-old man. And you saw the graffiti on the city signs. Are they fining themselves? We've got to protect our own community members. And this sick shit still goes on. This is a party. Hampton and Company, a business in Indianapolis, hosted an adult-themed sexualized drag show where children sat in the front row and handed cash tips to grown men dressed as women. What are we doing? What the hell is wrong with our country, with Americans, that they could do this to children? I'll post the link. I can't get this operating. I did notice on other people's lives, like Gray Zone, trying to play Twitter videos and they wouldn't play. That's what he got. So, yeah, I mean, there was a time when YouTube operated well. That time is gone. And here, prominent LGBTQ activist Trey Farmer arrested on child porn charges. Okay, this is not every gay person. This is not everybody in the community of the lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender. No, this is the agenda people pushing all of this on children. Can't lump everybody into that group. And I'm telling you, I'm losing it over this. These fucking sick shit heads. And you know, they get arrested and then they get probation. Or they might get a couple of years or a couple of, yeah, add up the days in jail. An alumni of Princeton and is president of the Queer Princeton Alumni Organization, Sacramento declares itself a sanctuary city for transgender people. Really? To protect those. The resolution, which takes effect immediately. It's so interesting how local government, state government, federal government can get the job done when they want to. But they'll pass laws that might benefit whomever is in the community, whoever is a resident, more, they just minimally benefit, and it's going to take effect in a year from now or 2 years from now. This, immediate. My God. So the resolution takes effect immediately, ensures that no city resources will be used to criminalize trans people seeking transition-related care or to cooperate with jurisdictions seeking to enforce laws that criminalize the care elsewhere. It comes as conservative lawmakers across the country have enacted laws to limit both surgical and non-surgical forms of gender-affirming care for minors. That's sane. That's protecting children, including puberty blockers and hormone replacement therapy within the last handful of years. This is criminalizing? Where is it criminalized? Show me where it's criminalized. Yeah, protecting minors from having their breasts cut off, from having their penis cut off, from taking very dangerous hormonal treatments. Criminalizing. So everybody can go to Sacramento and you can get all of the operations that you want. Biden vows to fight ban on pride flags as U.S. embassies, at U.S. embassies, after signing it. So last night I mentioned that there was a ban on the flags. This apparently is to save money. I don't know how much money it takes to put a flag out, but whatever. And Biden signed the bill banning it. And now he wants to reverse it because he didn't realize what he was signing. Biden was apparently fooled. He was fooled into signing. Who fooled him in his office? Who fooled him? There must have been a MAGA person in there. Apparently fooled into signing into law a ban on flying gay pride flags at American embassies, with his administration vowing to fight the measure despite Biden signing it. This is how flippin' insane this country has become. Now, why should we have a flag for gay people on our U.S. embassies? And a whole lot of these U.S. embassies in countries are not happy about it. But why? What makes them so special that they get a flag at our embassy? Maybe they're pushing this agenda and pushing it all over the world. Okay, here. ECU S. I'm not sure what, this is Edwardsville High School, not sure what state this is in, but the school board voted to approve a $6.8 million project to build gender-neutral bathrooms. Wow, now boys and girls will be able to hang out inside the bathroom area. What could possibly go wrong?
Fiery debate over gender-neutral bathrooms tonight. Millions of dollars on the line in Edwardsville as the school board votes to pass the proposal for Edwardsville High. Fox News' Max Deetnight was at the meeting, which just wrapped up at Liberty Middle School.
A passionate debate over millions of dollars going toward building new gender-neutral bathrooms at Edwardsville High School. Some parents and others upset over this idea.
Who watches the watchers? But using our tax money that I earned, to do something I oppose is just so wrong. Shouldn't even be a consideration. It's wasting the public's time. Thank you.
But others, including a current transgender student, argue the opposition is fear-mongering and that these bathrooms are safe.
From my experience as a transgender man,
I don't care about your experience. I do not care about your experience. This is not about you. This is about everyone, how everyone feels. And yeah, $6.8 million, why don't you cough it up? If you want those gender-neutral bathrooms, why don't you cough up that amount of money? The hell are we doing here? I can't believe this country. It is so unbelievably messed up. I do not care how you feel. You know, make one of the bathrooms there gender neutral. Put up a sign, gender neutral. That's all you need. Not $6.8 million to make these bathrooms. Just make one of them. And leave the rest as it always has been. Why not? If your feelings are hurt by that, that means you are forcing everybody to put aside their feelings. You show no respect for them. You're forcing everybody to accept your feelings. It is profoundly mentally ill.
I rarely have ever felt safe in a public restroom.
This is an excellent opportunity to validate.
Enough. I can't listen. I really can't listen. Breaking. Natalie Pershall, a man pretending to be a woman, was just sentenced to 6 years probation, 87 days in jail, and must register as a sex offender for taking pictures of females in the woman's bathroom of his company's office. Yeah. Oh, God. You know, I'd love to say enough with this shit. Enough with this crap. Enough with forcing people into your way or the highway. So what? It's just going to go on and go on and go on. Because it is true that most Americans, a huge majority, are mentally ill and they do not know how to stand up, to live principles. They've been a bullshit people forever, and I'm really tired of it. Warning to anyone who sleeps with blinds open. It may increase risk of stroke or heart attacks by 40%. What do you do with that? The artificial light that comes in. Apparently there's a whole new movement of people making sure their blinds are open so that they wake up to the morning sun. Okay. But I would think that phone, a whole lot sleep with their phone underneath pillows or their phone on the bedside table. We're not going to mention that. We're going to blinds open. You might get a stroke or a heart attack. Oh, what else could give you a stroke or a heart attack? Maybe that new product that came out in 2020? Maybe? Our world has literally gone flippin' insane, and it ain't coming back. Sleeping with the blinds open could raise your risk of stroke. Streetlights, light pollution from traffic interferes with the body's natural sleep-wake cycle. Not all of this technology, though. That's just fine. You're not getting quality rest. Anybody care to read the details of this study that are literally just crap? Go ahead, click on the link. And don't let them off the hook. Now, this is John Stossel, so I can't play this, but it was a good video that is, when did he post it? 8 days ago? 8 days ago. But all of the lies that we all lived through, right? All of the lies. Lie after lie after lie after lie. All of these sick, disturbed, mentally ill, subhuman entities lying and killing people in the process. Right? Killing people in the process. Let's just do it. That's what we are. I can't stand it. So, 1 dead, 1 injured in shooting at Northeast Philly SEPTA station. So, something's going on in Philly. A whole lot of people are being gunned down at bus stations. It happened just before 5 p.m. on Monday at the Arrot Transportation Center. The victim was 33 years old, Stephen Young. And earlier this month, there were 4 shootings that broke out at the SEPTA bus stations. But crime is down, thank God. U.S. Intel Agency wants to ban terms radical Islamist and jihadist, because they're hurtful to museum. I'm having trouble. Muslim Americans. You know what else is hurtful? Domestic terrorists applied to parents for standing up at school board meetings. How about get rid of that? And Scotland, Police Scotland, to stop investigating crimes while enforcing their new anti-free speech law. Police Scotland, this is like, I guess, a unit of the police in Scotland. Police Scotland admits that a separate plan to stop investigating crimes like theft and criminal damage will help criminals for sure. Police Scotland pilot in Aberdeen, which was deemed a success, means more than 24,000 offenses a year will no longer be allocated to a frontline officer. The body, Police Scotland, refused to tell the Telegraph which offenses would not be investigated, asserting that it would provide criminals with a tactical advantage for sure, don't you think? The new policy is designed to free up time for officers to come after your tweets, come after you for liking a tweet that is considered hateful. The absurdity of this plan is heightened by the fact that from April 1st, April Fool's Day, hate crime legislation comes into force in Scotland that will require additional resources to assess every single report. Farrell, admitted the new law that this could create additional demand and create a resource implication for police tied up with investigating people who are on social media writing things that people don't like, hurt people's feelings. The bill is so broad that any speech whatsoever deemed to have caused offense could be reported and investigated. During their training program on enforcing the new law, police officers were taught that even the content of plays and comedy gigs should be considered as potential hate crimes. Many have asserted that merely retweeting a Ricky Gervais joke about transgender people could amount to a hate crime in Scotland. And meanwhile, the real criminals must be licking their lips in anticipation for April 1st. But it's just not an April 1st prank. Return of the knockout game. Women punched by strangers in New York City. And as I was reading this, I thought to myself, I can't even trust anyone. Unless I see something, unless there's video, unless. But women just writing on social media, who the hell knows if it's true? I mean, it's not like truth is a value and a principle that people live by in our country. The infamous knockout game could have made a return after numerous women reported being punched in the head by strangers. Over the course of the last 2 weeks, multiple women have, and I'm not saying that it's not true. I was punched. Several times in Manhattan. Sunday morning, I'm walking to an AA meeting. And this guy crosses catty corner of the street in the Village and just wails out and punches me in the arm. And other stuff happened. So I'm not saying it's not true. All I know is, well, if there's no evidence that you're providing, how can I trust anyone anymore? And that really pisses me off because it's put me in a really bad circumstance. Trust is so important. So I'll link below to this article and you can read what the women were saying. Yeah, punched in the head, punched in the face, the knockout game. But hey, you want to be happy? Drink water. So simple to be happy. Drink water. Okay? Drink water. And you'll be happy. I drink a lot of water. Hasn't helped me. The squad earmarked $224 million since 2023, led by AOC. It's pork barrel spending by the Democratic Socialists. Corruption and earmarks. Fraud. Why do we allow this to go on? So AOC, who last week didn't even know that RICO was the name of a crime, is the squad's most prominent voice. She is celebrated as a socialist superstar by the Democratic Socialists of America. So AOC earmarked $1.2 million for a new building for International Muslim Women's Empowerment Project. Its founder teaches a hijab grab self-defense move involving a kick to the groin. $500,000 for the Billion Oyster Project in her district. Rich people eat oysters. The law prohibits anyone from either fishing or eating oysters in the Hudson River. I can't imagine eating anything out of the Hudson River, but people, I guess, do. So this is only an engineering project for eco-marginalized people in Queens. So, nearly $1 million to create jobs for the black community near George Floyd Square. $1.7 million to help the environmental leaders of color build a green tech park. The group's goal is to assist marginalized communities in preparing for climate change, the climate change adverse effects, so that they can thrive like healthy plants in their natural ecosystem. The flood will not come to your green tech park. $1 million for the Immigrant Opportunity Center expansion, run by CAPI USA, a nonprofit that guides refugees and immigrants in their journey toward self-determination and social equality. $1.35 million to New Immigrant Community Empowerment, a nonprofit that advocates for citizenship for all illegal immigrants. $1.5 million to build special grocery stores and education facilities for black farmers in the community of St. Louis. $1 million for the San Antonio College Empowerment Center, which runs an undocumented student support program to help immigrants enroll in the school. So these are different congresspersons, all from the squad. And there's more. Here, $1 million to build a network of intergenerational trauma-informed waterfront. What? Wait. Intergenerational trauma-informed waterfront green spaces. Well, that's a load of words. Intergenerational trauma-informed waterfront green spaces. Can't figure that out. Nearly $500,000 to improve the energy efficiency of a St. Louis homeless shelter. I think that money could be better spent just trying, I don't know, to keep the elderly in their homes or help the homeless get out of the shelter. $4 million to build an industrial green beltway in Dearborn, Michigan. $500,000 from AOC to build this oyster reef, to build an oyster reef to address long-standing environmental justice inequities facing unrepresented communities in Queens. Oyster habitats in New York have been damaged by pollution, and harvesting them for food is illegal. What? $850,000 to repair a bridge that connects minority environmental justice communities in Pennsylvania. Yeah. WTF News. Trump selling $60 Bibles to make America pray again. And I didn't know. He has a whole line of products out there. But donate, because he's been hurt by these lawsuits, and he may lose a lot of money. Even though he's just enhanced his wealth to $6.2 billion. Trump announced on March 26 his collaboration with country singer Lee Greenwood to promote the God Bless the USA Bible. Yeah, encouraging people to buy it and make America pray again. All Americans need a Bible in their home, and I have many. It's my favorite book. We're a melting pot of an awful lot of religions. Well, you need a Bible in your home. It's the King James. Hey, I think you all should get a copy of God Bless the USA Bible now and help spread our Christian values. What are they? What are the Christian values, by the way? Because I don't see it manifesting. It's got to manifest. There you have it. Let's make America pray again. God Bless the USA Bible features the King James Version translation, which is, well, the Church of England actually just came out with a new one a couple of years ago, changed a couple of things, but God's word, all right. It cost $666. $59.99. Flip that around, right? $666. It includes the handwritten chorus of Mr. Greenwood's famous God Bless the USA song. The U.S. Constitution, the Declaration of Independence, the Bill of Rights, and the Pledge of Allegiance. Who knew that Trump was such a religious fanatic? Said that many Americans don't know the liberties and rights they have as U.S. citizens, nor are they aware of how they are being threatened to lose those rights. It's happening all the time. It's a very sad thing that's going on in our country, but we're going to get it turned around. Yay! Religion and Christianity are the biggest things missing from this country, which resulted in the country going haywire. Wow. Well, what the hell happened? Because you know what? Not until the recent years, 97% of the population self-declared Christians. What? I guess the Christians have to look in the mirror, bring back Christianity into our country, right? Wow, I truly believe that we need to bring them back here, and we have to bring them back fast. I think it's one of the biggest problems we have. Our founding fathers did a tremendous thing when they built America on Judeo-Christian values. Now that foundation is under attack, perhaps as never before. What can we do? Stand up, speak out, pray that God will bless America again. That will bring him an awful lot of donations. Awful lot of people will buy that Bible, and he will get an awful lot of votes, as he's already either pre-selected to be the president or not. Yeah. And it's nothing to do with any political campaign. We did have a separation of church and state, but hey, did you watch that Walter Veith video on Trump? Oh, he doesn't want a separation of church and state. So clearly he doesn't care about the Constitution. I could kill someone. Oh, okay. Most U.S. troops aren't getting enough sleep. They're cranky. When service members don't get enough sleep, it can affect their performance. Fatigue has led to fatal accidents, hundreds of millions of dollars in damage to ships, vehicles, aircraft. Motor vehicle operator gave perhaps the most eye-opening assessment. They reach a level of fatigue and sleep deprivation that approaches being intoxicated with alcohol. That's a very bad thing when you're talking about people who are flying military aircraft, driving multi-ton vehicles, and steering very large capital ships on the open sea. Why aren't they getting sleep? What's going on? Why aren't Americans getting sleep? Because sleep deprivation and the kind of sleep that people need to feel well rested, that REM sleep, the REM sleep, rapid eye movement into deep, deep sleep that heals the body, why aren't we able to get that anymore? Frequencies. All the technology, the Wi-Fi, the smart meters, it destroys melatonin in our brain and causes an awful lot of upset. For sure, for sure. And this is our environment now. So, getting rid of the natural world includes getting rid of the human being and, yeah, bringing in transhumanism. And, yeah, CDC redacts 148 pages. FOIA requests are a joke. If any agency that receives a FOIA request actually responds to it, because I did post a video on how, this was years ago, how our federal agencies just were ignoring FOIA requests. But when they do actually respond, redact, redact, redact. 148 pages. Okay. Well, I guess they have something to hide, huh? In the myocarditis report. And the battle has begun. The battle began a long time ago, but what is he talking about here? Let's listen, and I want to thank my subscriber for sending this along to me.
That's all around us. Do you remember that episode from the first season of Blackadder? You know, the Rowan Atkinson comedy, the medieval one it started with. It was something to do with Prince Edmund's upcoming nuptials, and his mother, the Queen, has found a sheep in his bedroom. And she says, "It's not the sheep I mind, Edmund, it's the lying." And I feel like that all the time. Well, I mean, I do mind being lied to, we all do, but more than the lying, I really object to the stupidity of it all. The way we're apparently deemed to be so stupid that they just tell us anything at all the time. What I mean is the lies, if they weren't always, seem now to be so badly done, so inept. The quality or the lack of quality of the lies is such that, well, a reasonable person looking on at the incessant lying is left to wonder why it's all so obvious. You know, you think all the time, well, if I can see it, maybe I'm meant to see it. Because if you've got entities that have been practicing lying for a very, very long time, you think they'd be slick, that it wouldn't be so obvious to the likes of you and me. So you think, well, if I'm seeing it, maybe I'm meant to see it. So what does that mean? And off you disappear down a newly opened rabbit hole. But you know, surely we're meant to see the cracks in the picture, the flaws, the glaring dishonesty that our noses are being rubbed in. And if the obvious lying, the inept lying, is just to preoccupy us and get us talking, what is it that we're not looking at while that's going on? And it's increasingly obvious, or it seems to me to be increasingly obvious, that the liars just can't stop lying. And lying for the sake of it. Even when there's no need to lie. It feels like they must still go out of their way to come up with new things just for the purpose of lying about them. Or is it just me? You tell me, am I paranoid? Because just because you're paranoid doesn't mean they're not out to get you. A big part of the problem, I think, is that I would say too many people enjoy being lied to at some level. They enjoy being fooled. There's a movie, I often refer to movies in here, but there's a movie called The Prestige about magicians. And in it, the character called Cutter, who's played by Michael Caine, explains the basic nature of magic tricks. He says every great magic trick consists of 3 parts or acts. The first part is called the pledge. The magician shows you something ordinary, a deck of cards, a bird, or a man. He shows you this object. Perhaps he asks you to inspect it to see if it is indeed real, unaltered, normal. But of course, it probably isn't. The second act is called the turn. The magician takes the ordinary something and makes it do something extraordinary. Now you're looking for the secret, but you won't find it because, of course, you're not really looking. You don't really want to know. You want to be fooled. But you wouldn't clap yet because making something disappear isn't enough. You have to bring it back. That's why every magic trick has a third act, the hardest part, the part we call the prestige. Okay, that's the end of the Cutter quote. Now, I don't know enough about magic tricks. I don't know enough to know if those are even real terms magicians use. They're just made up for the film, I don't know. But you get the point. Magicians can exploit the fact people enjoy being fooled. They actively want to be fooled. Take me in, we seem to...
Yes, take me in. Lies are destroying us. And what is really upsetting is not they who lie, you know, the mainstream media reporters, the elite, the puppets of the elite. No. Ordinary people. Ordinary people. And that's what really needs to be addressed. Because if we can't trust one another, aren't we doomed? And a whole lot of people, because of their lying, have already doomed an awful lot of people. And it ain't right. So, Moderna vaccine recipients have greater risk of developing chronic condition. What a surprise. It is a chronic hive. Chronic hives. Pump prices to hit $4 a gallon. Oh, it's going to skyrocket eventually. Vermont lawmakers consider millions in new taxes. Millions in new investments. Millions in new taxes to fund them. The state's spending plan, including a big expansion of Medicaid for illegals, an expansion of the judiciary in Vermont, more supports for affordable housing. This is all going for illegals. I'd be very surprised if it was going for anyone else. So they want to increase corporate income tax, the foreign income tax, and the property transfer tax, and a new tax bracket for Vermonters who make $500,000 annually. A potential tax on candy, soda, streaming services, and an expansion of the sales tax are still up for debate. Ford to dramatically cut hourly workforce at their F-150 Lightning plant in Dearborn. More people losing jobs. How many? About 1,400. Cocoa prices are soaring to record levels. What it means for consumers and why the worst is still yet to come. You like chocolate? It's going to get very expensive. Baltimore Bridge collapse may cost billions, dramatically disrupts supply chains, so it's going to disrupt shipping flows across the United States. Do not know how long ship traffic in and out of the port will be suspended, but it's going to cost. 107 vessels will not be able to call that port and will have to divert to other ports, distribution warehouses, and other facilities at or near the port, including Amazon, FedEx, BMW, will be disrupted. Agricultural exports, rice, sugar, fertilizer, forestry products, it's pretty big in Baltimore. Then there's a big paper industry there and construction materials, and oh, isn't it perfect for skyrocketing prices. Other impacts include the Port of Baltimore's fueling depot, which is currently unable to take fueling shipments for the near future. The stretch of Interstate 695 that collapsed with the bridge is the only hazmat approved bridge in the area. So those shipments will have a large diversion in the region and beyond. And a whole lot of trucks that would take that stretch of I-695 have to take another route. How does that affect you? Your pocket, how much money, shortage of supplies, all of that kind of stuff. And what is this? Kroger to end South Florida home delivery service. Well, the only people that I am concerned about, the elderly and disabled. But they're suspending their South Florida delivery service because it didn't bring the kind of money they wanted. And let's just look at layoffs. So, Kroger, dozens of layoffs in Austin Fulfillment Center, 49 in San Francisco for Unity, another 49, Weber Shandwick, 20 in New York, GameStop, some job cuts, 2,000 Vodafone, John Deere, 317, battery recycler Li-Cycle, 60. I'm not reading the percentages, just the numbers. Bristol Myers, 250, and Fisher Price will have layoffs. 19 SUNY Rockland Community College, Zum, 150, 400 from Britain's Co-op Bank, 100 plus layoffs, Yakima School Board, 6,000, Dell Global, 6,000, 275 from Arlington Independent School District in Texas, 1,200, Sweden, Ericsson, 88, Ket and Engineering, South Hadley Schools, up to 30 positions, Second Harvest, 20, CureVac, 150. But as you can see, this middle column are how many people are hiring, and if you add up the numbers, they don't quite mesh for a good economy. AMSIV in Ohio, 60. FedEx confirms layoffs, don't know how many. NextCure, 30. Morgan Hill Unified School District begins issuing layoff notices. Epic Records, 15, City of Los Angeles plans to eliminate 2,000 vacant positions. Another school district in New York, 70. 200 plus Minneapolis public schools. What's going on with these public schools laying off an awful lot of people? And health centers, North Memorial Health, 103. Barclays, hundreds of bank jobs. Riverhead Schools, 57. Strict Trailers, 160. All right, I'll put the link into Daily Jobs Cut. I have it bookmarked. You might want to bookmark it and check it out. A whole lot of people losing their jobs. So, most beautiful.
This dog loves the water so much. Every time this owner bring him to go swimming, and as soon as he sees the water, he started screaming and jumping like. This is the most beautiful and rarest horse in the world. The Akal Teke is a breed of horse that originated in the deserts of Turkmenistan. They are known for their distinctive metallic sheen, their speed and endurance, and their intelligence. They can survive in temperatures ranging from -40 degrees Fahrenheit to 120 degrees Fahrenheit. Akal Tekes are relatively rare horses. There are only an estimated 6,000 Akal Tekes in the world today. This is the most beautiful and rarest horse in the world. The Akal Teke.
Just a little bit of a break. Seriously beautiful. Wow. And here. Why can't I get TikTok to play? The horse is blind, and the donkey is the guide. I've always felt like horses have a magic about them. They're just very healing. There's something very calming, something very healing, just being around them. And then we have these people. What's the point? What's the point? I can't. People who yank their animals on a leash, it makes me sick. And this guy, what does he think? He's a tough guy? This little thug in an airport? All right. Man, do we have a problem with people. We have a big problem with people. Yeah. Look, you do have to consider humanity has been a mess. Abject mess. And getting rid of us might be a good thing. So, MS-13, gang leader on FBI's watch list, arrested. You want these guys coming into the country? Well, they're all over the country. Not good. Charged for his alleged role in ordering numerous acts of violence against civilians, law enforcement, and rival gang members, as well as transnational drug distribution and extortion schemes. Yeah. This is what is coming across the border. Oof. Biden considering granting amnesty, handing out green cards to illegal immigrants. Just hand it to them, right? What are we doing? What the hell? How is it that we couldn't get rid of these people? I will never understand, man. I will just never understand. Yeah. So they can work. The millions and millions and millions and millions of them. Breaking news, new criminal alien caravan organized by Catholic Church makes its way to the United States. Each one of them will break into the country. And yeah, they'll get green cards.
Marzo de 2024 damos por iniciado el Via Crucis migrante de este año. En el nombre de Dios, iniciamos nuestra caminata y hasta Álvaro Obregón, compañeros. ¡Viva el pueblo!
It's not stopping. It's not stopping at all. And here, this is... All right, illegal aliens in El Paso, Texas, knocking on doors, asking for money. These individuals are sick in the head and get aggressive. When confronted, they try and beg and tell you a sob story, but they're lying. They have new cars. They travel around the country renting Airbnb, scamming Americans. Don't give them anything.
La deduction dar cal și avea cât e acolo al original.
El Paso, Texas, which is seeing a renewed migrant surge right now. There are migrants that have crossed into the country and have not been apprehended by Border Patrol. They've sought refuge at this church here, Sacred Heart Church, which you can see some of them are on the street here. We've actually identified several of these individuals that have tattoos that are tied to a Venezuelan gang known as El Tren de Aragua, that the Ibarra brothers, Jose Ibarra is the alleged murderer of Laken Riley, and his brother Diego Ibarra were a part of. The gang has spread across the country, conducting criminal activities in places like New York, where the NYPD has sent a memo recently warning its officers about the presence of the gang and actually showing the exact tattoos that we've seen here on multiple individuals, actually right behind me. The individuals here have created their own kind of operation. One of them has bought a car and has been driving for Uber, he tells me. Others say that they're really not fearful of any law enforcement presence, such as the possibility of having SB 4 in place, the state law that would allow Texas authorities, local authorities, to make arrests for illegal entry. The individual who has been driving for Uber does not actually have a license. He has his Border Patrol documents that he got after being released. His court date is in 2025. Others here are driving as well without licenses, it appears. The ones that don't have papers as well, that ran through the border and did not get caught. Meanwhile, the surge continues at the front lines of the border wall, where we saw a group of 600 migrants try to enter the United States today. And of course, it created a very tense situation. Hundreds of migrants stormed the border wall today as part of that group, overwhelming the Texas National Guard deployed down there and encircling them, breaking down concertina wire, and eventually making their way up to the wall, where they pleaded for assistance to get into the country.
Gangs, criminal gangs. Chile, Venezuela, El Salvador. So I will put the link in to this tweet, because apparently I didn't have my mic on, reading what that woman in El Paso was writing about renting out an Airbnb to people who did not take care of her property, and it's a scam. Don't give them money when they come to you with their buckets. Welcome to Canada, where many Canadians can't afford food, but a refugee family of 4 receives rent paid for the month. $3,185 for furniture, $1,250 for clothing, $750 for household needs, $450 for basic food and cleaning supplies, their phone plan, and bus pass. And this, nothing's playing anymore. Alright, well, you see an awful lot of homeless Canadians living in a tent. Will there be a revolution? No. New York starts handing out prepaid debit cards to illegal immigrants. That's right. Go. The cards would first be delivered to the Roosevelt Hotel, the first touch point for illegal immigrants arriving in the city, with records indicating the first to receive the cards will be families with children. City Hall said that the prepaid cards can only be used at bodegas, grocery stores, supermarkets, and convenience stores, and recipients will have to sign a pledge promising to use the cards only to buy food and baby supplies. Wow! It's the honor system. The honor system. New Jersey town could be the new arrival destination for migrants from Texas. Phillipsburg, the mayor of a small town in northwest New Jersey, has launched an investigation to determine if charter buses are dropping migrants off in his town. And guess what he found? They were. The town of Phillipsburg has received no prior notice of this, nor was any permission granted by the town to any legal authority for such action. A white charter bus was seen dropping off a group of men at the corner of Stockton and Sitgreaves streets in Phillipsburg. Nobody respects anyone anymore in our country, so we don't ask, we just do. Tucson faces catastrophe is funding for illegal immigrants set to expire. Well, it's not just Tucson, but there's an awful lot of illegal immigrants because it's considered a border city. City of Tucson may be only days away from a crisis as millions of dollars in federal funds set to expire on April 1. What are we going to do? Democratic Washington governor signs law allowing illegal immigrants to obtain commercial licenses. He is breaking immigration law. Federal government should come down hard on him, but they won't, because our government and governments do not operate the way a lot of Americans believe they do. So this law allows illegal immigrants to obtain commercial licenses for jobs that initially required citizenship. Inslee, the governor of Washington, the House Bill 1889, which allows immigrants to get professional licenses using individual tax identification numbers instead of Social Security numbers. The bill will open doors for careers in teaching, healthcare, accounting, many other professions to those who are ready to join the Washington workforce. The legislation would allow everyone to participate in our economy. Really? Teaching? Healthcare? Accounting? Chicago migrants face uncertain future. This is happening all over. New York, Chicago, Denver, Tucson, releasing them onto the streets.
Five Chicago Park District facilities will no longer be used as emergency shelters for migrants.
Some facilities will need maintenance as the city says the parks are no longer needed. Tia Ewing is live in Edgewater with more. Tia.
Well, Don and Scott, the city says the migrants will be moved to shelters nearby. But one migrant who I spoke to, who's now living here temporarily at the Broadway Armory Park, told me he's not sure where he's going, but that he and 3 of his children will have to be out of here in 23 days.
They extended the time until April 17th to me and my family. From there, I don't know what's going to happen with us.
Jorge has been calling the Broadway Armory Park in Edgewater home for 4 months, along with his 3 children. And come next month, they have to go.
They're going to send us to where we arrived first. We arrived at the 16th district.
He says he's being sent back to the police station, but the city says migrants will be sent to other shelters. Save our park. The Armory started operating as a shelter in August of last year, providing a temporary home for 300 migrants bused from Texas. The shelter site is for families. 4 other Chicago Park District facilities that currently serve as temporary emergency housing will be vacated so summer programming can resume.
By March 30th, our Gage Park facility will be clear of all the migrants that are taking up residence there, and that we will have full access to the field house by mid-April.
That means
man with baby in Spain threatened with a knife by North African immigrants. The chaos, the violent chaos. Homeowner in Barcelona asked these African migrants to leave his house, but he refuses and takes a hammer. It's my house now.
Sácate la cosa, salís aquí, salgas aquí, salgas aquí, apártate aquí, no quiere verte. ¿Estás solo? ¿Estás solo? ¿Vas solo? Salgas aquí. Pero estoy fuera. Apártate aquí, no quiere verte, apártate. No la amenaces, apártate aquí, no quieres que te...
Maybe it wasn't such a good idea to allow all of these illegal migrants into our countries. Migrants fighting at the Charles de Gaulle airport in Paris. It's probably not going to play. No. Well, I'll put the link in if you're somebody who likes to see fights. I'm actually not someone who likes to see fights. There. Click on the link below. Watch migrants duke it out. What a mess. Graphic. This is too graphic for me, but I will put it in. Put the link in. You can watch it. Nope. Not interested in watching somebody get stabbed in Victoria Station. Stabbing a person repeatedly on a moving train in London. Nearby school was placed on lockdown. But in the UK, they're too busy, investigating people's social media accounts. So the suspect has not been identified or apprehended. Isn't that interesting? With all of the surveillance that they have on us, they can't seem to identify people that are stabbing other people. And things that have been discredited, talk about the lies. U.S. and Israel. Oof. And UK. Lying. That's the only form of communication that an awful lot of people have. Things that have been discredited during the destruction of Gaza, and this guy has been discredited as far as I'm concerned with his position on what's happening in Israel. The IDF, what they're doing to Gaza. X'd out.
Things that have been discredited during the destruction of Gaza. Here's a list of things that have been discredited during the destruction of Gaza. Israel. The rules-based international order, liberals, the label anti-Semitism, the mainstream media, Joe Biden, the two-state solution myth, Bernie Sanders, Robert F. Kennedy Jr., the label terrorist, the human shields lie, the ADL, AIPAC, the U.S. war machine, right-wing free speech supporters, the Democratic Party, the Republican Party, Zionism, all Western governments, all of Western civilization, everything Westerners believe about their society. The U.S. vetoed multiple UN ceasefire resolutions, then put forward a fake ceasefire resolution that didn't actually demand a ceasefire, and accused Russia and China of sabotaging peace when they vetoed it. Then an actual ceasefire resolution was passed, which the U.S. abstained from voting on rather than vetoing in order to save face over its Russia-China moralizing. And then the U.S. declared, 100% falsely, that the UN ceasefire resolution which passed is non-binding. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez continues to support and defend Biden and just endorsed virulent Israel supporter Hakeem Jeffries for House Speaker, even after accusing Israel of genocide in a House floor speech. If you say this is a genocide and then you support the people who are backing this genocide, it means either A, you're fine with genocide, or B, you only called it genocide to score progressive political points and don't actually believe what you said. There's a tweet by Tamim. Israel assaulted Al-Shifa Hospital again last week, and the world did nothing, so it's assaulting another 2 hospitals now, Al-Amal and Nasser. This is a Daily Star headline. Israel besieges 2 more Gaza hospitals. Comment from Caitlin. Israel's obsession with destroying hospitals makes no sense from a military strategic viewpoint, but it makes tons of sense from a genocidal viewpoint. Biden supporters keep trying to spin his genocidal actions as some kind of aberration in his otherwise lovely behavior due to highly unusual circumstances, as though he hasn't been a bloodthirsty warmonger and an extreme pro-Israel hawk his entire fucking political career. Don't babble at me about how bad and wrong it is for Palestinians to use violence unless you can offer me a coherent plan for what they should do instead. Civil disobedience won't work because Zionists have no conscience and don't care about Palestinian death and suffering. The doors to a 2-state solution with a real Palestinian state are slammed shut by Israel's political landscape and are being further bolted down by continually expanding settlements deliberately designed to prevent such a solution from even happening. A 1-state solution where everyone has equal rights and no ethnicity gets preferential treatment is an even more remote pipe dream which not even Israel's Western allies support. So what can the Palestinians do? It doesn't look like anyone who opposes armed resistance has any good answers. Really, what they want is for Palestinians to just lie down and submit to whatever abuses Israel wants to inflict upon them and just slowly fade away into obscurity and become a forgotten people. But they can't say that aloud without sounding like psychopaths, so they just finger wag at Hamas without ever offering any legitimate solutions. Palestinians have been forced against their will into an impossibly horrible situation, and they sometimes use violence out of desperation because all other doors are closed to them. If you want me to condemn them for this, you can kiss my ass, especially since you can't even tell me what they should do instead. The overwhelming majority of Westerners spend roughly 0% of their day thinking about Jews and Judaism, but because Israel stands accused of genocide, people are being gaslighted into believing our society is overflowing with a widespread seething hatred of Jewish people. All popular online posts about Israeli atrocities will have numerous comments underneath claiming that it didn't happen, or that it was justified, or that it was good actually, or that it should be blamed on Hamas. Every single one, without a single solitary exception, no matter how strong the evidence is, no matter how horrific the atrocity. This shows you that Israel apologists don't care about truth or morality, and it shows you that they never have. All throughout Israel's history, they've been lying and manipulating the public narrative about what the Israeli state has been doing this entire time. That's why they push so hard to get people deplatformed and censored, and to get TikTok shut down. All they care about is controlling the public narrative, so they want to silence anyone who makes that harder for them.
I'm not even sure they want to control the public narrative, frankly, because they're not stupid, and they know that what they're doing, and the IDF had a TikTok account. They want to shut down TikTok. IDF, with their TikTok account, posting videos that show those who posted the video, those in the video, committing war crimes, acting like they're 2 years old. They're 2-year-old bullies in a sandbox, blowing up people, killing children, destroying schools, etc., etc. They knew full well that the world would turn on them, as well the United States. So, this is what they wanted. But I don't care what they want. I want it all stopped. I want my life back. I want our life back. And we're not going to get it back. This is what we have. But it's not just the discrediting of Israel, as Caitlin mentions in her article. Western civilization, there is none. We're not civilized people. We've got to face that. We are not civilized people. We're thugs, we're murderous, we care about only ourselves, don't care about other people. Speaking generally, if you do, great. But if you do, then you have to recognize that a whole lot of people don't. And that's our problem, you know. Immoral, just an abject disgrace as far as I'm concerned. But for sure, what's happening in Gaza has really shown the true colors of our country, Americans on the whole. You know, even Americans on the whole, a large majority want a ceasefire. Well, if you just ask people on the street, they want a ceasefire. They don't do anything, you know, they don't necessarily care about all of the suffering that is going on. But they'll say, yeah, I want a ceasefire. Does that make them good, moral, good people of moral character? No. You know, here, Israel unleashes major airstrikes on Syria, deep inside Lebanon. The wars are definitely expanding, for sure. And I'll put the link in. This is an interview with a journalist or filmmaker. Journalist films. Israelis admitting to war crimes. They admit to it. Again, not stupid. They know what they're doing. Perhaps they're showing us what's all coming to all of us. $18 killed in Gaza, trying to reach aid as Pentagon vows more airdrops. So they drop food, Palestinians run to get it, and the IDF have their snipers out there killing them. Okay? Something, it's grotesque what has happened. Humanity is gone. You know, you have a few people here, there, and, you know, everywhere on the planet, but it's essentially gone. Man, should we have taken out these evil motherfuckers a long time ago. Wow. Imagine thinking no other country was better. Yeah. Most Americans oppose Israel's war in Gaza. The poll finds, well, I have a whole lot. Oh, yeah. On Rabbi Shmuley. Okay. I'm RFK Jr. Shmuley is one of his advisors? Oh, okay, great. Well, I'll put the link in. You should see this. It is unbelievable. It's just unbelievable. And I'm getting really frustrated with the internet that I have here that just sucks. America's most famous rabbi. Is he the most famous rabbi? Whoa. Israeli soldiers' life is equal to 35 American soldiers.
The United States use precision bombing. That's exactly what Israel does, because Israel is like the United States. We are a moral nation, which is why so many hundreds of soldiers. Remember, every time Israel loses one soldier, that's the United States losing 35 soldiers. When Israel, so on October.
I'm done with October 7th. Moral. It's a moral nation. Okay. Everybody that lives in Israel, if you think you're living in a moral nation, let me just say this clearly. You are not. Any American who thinks they're living in a moral country, I'll say it clearly. You are not. You're deranged in your thinking if you think that. So deranged that you don't even know what moral is. Yeah, we've got a big problem. So if anybody knows of any place to rent in Anderson, South Carolina, I'd love to get my life back. This is a temporary situation, and I need my own place. I am just anybody? I feel not good. So that's all I have. You know, if you still have, some semblance of your life, you are so lucky, and you're probably feeling better than an awful lot of people. So what you need to do is get out there and help those who are really struggling in your communities. Yeah, that's what you need to do. If you're a part of humanity, then manifest it and help people and do what you can. Live honestly, and you speak honestly, and you develop yourself as a trustworthy human being. But that really, for us here in America, we have been inculcated, indoctrinated in lies, and we lie, and we live a lie, and we talk, this bullshit game about how much we value things and our principles, but we don't manifest them. So it's bullshit. We've got to start manifesting. We've got to start manifesting. You value truth, that means you don't lie. When you give your word, you keep it. Your word is everything. Your word is who you are. If you don't keep it, you're just a bullshit, meaningless person, and eventually you'll die. Great. Okay. Be a person of substance. Be a person of substance. And for sure, be safe. Awareness. And do consider all of what could happen each day. I am, look, I just, things are flying off the rails now. So, do your best to create community. Talk to your neighbors. Hang on to your friends. Hang on to your family. Let go of the bullshit stuff. Just don't fight over everything and anything or nothing. Just really bring your best self to life. It's very important to do that. So, on that note, thank you for showing up. Hope to see you tomorrow night. Yeah, to all of you, be safe. Good luck and good night. Ciao.